We all know that controversy sells. So is it any surprise that the beef between Kanye and Drake is coming to light at the release of their new albums? Now, even though they're both really talented at their craft, in the end, we can learn a lot from them as business people as well. And I'll actually start some beef of my own. I didn't think either album was very good. I'd much rather have 2004 Kanye or 2010 Drake versus what they are today. But nonetheless, they're both very talented at their craft, but I think there's a lot we can learn from them as business people. Back in the day, most musicians had one stream of income. It was the music they created. And with that music, they were able to sell albums, they were able to hold concerts, and they could sell merch and other products at those events. But with social media and streaming platforms, things have changed dramatically for musicians. It's now much easier for them to make money through endorsements and sponsorships due to their following. And even though going platinum with an album sale was a really big deal back in the day, I don't even know that they measure that anymore. Most music is now streamed on things like Spotify, Pandora, or Apple Music. And success in your music is now measured by how many times someone streams it. And I would even argue that you're probably more successful if you can get a song to go viral on TikTok. The artists whose songs become dance crazes or memes or different things that creators use, they're gonna be able to monetize it extremely well. But even with all of these new ways to make money as an artist, it still is not even close to how much money they could make if they actually own a business. For me growing up, I was really into rap music. I love listening to Tupac and eventually 50 Cent. I watched him come up with Get Rich or Die Tryin' and become the biggest rapper in the world. But it was also around that time that I realized he wasn't making that much money rapping. You had Eminem and Dr. Dre really making money off of him. It wasn't until he bought into a business that he became truly wealthy. And that business was vitamin water. He had a minority stake in the company, and they were sold to Coca-Cola for $4.1 billion in 2007. It's been reported that he walked away with anywhere from $60 to $100 million from that one deal. Now, his music may have made more than that, but he personally did not. Once you factor in how much the record label is actually taking from all of this, the artists are not making much. But some other guys who did the same thing were P. Diddy and Jay-Z. P. Diddy went the route of starting Sean John Clothing. Jay-Z started Rockaware. And those two realized with their clothing brands that they could make a lot more money doing that than making music. And all of this was happening in the early to mid 2000s, but it was setting the stage for some crazy things that you're seeing today. Recently, Rihanna became a billionaire. And what's funny is, I don't remember the last time I heard a song from Rihanna. The fact is, she became a billionaire from her cosmetic line, Fenty. And the craziest part about that was she started Fenty Beauty back in 2017. And in less than 4 years, it's made her a billionaire. Now, what Rihanna did that was extremely smart was partner with the right people. She knew she had the influence and the passion for this product, but she didn't necessarily have the distribution or the know-how of the beauty industry. And so she partnered with LVMH. And if you don't know what that is, it's Louis Vuitton. By partnering with Louis Vuitton, she knew that with her influence and their business savvy and all their connections, it was going to be a massive brand, making him one of the only people in the top 10 richest of the world that is not in tech. The point with all this is that musicians have now learned that the money is not in making music. It's to take all the eyeballs and influence that their music has created and turn those into businesses. And I've realized this as well in my own life. By creating content on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram, I'm now able to turn those eyeballs into profit into my businesses. If you're good at your craft, whatever that is, whether it's creating content, whether it's making music, and people like and trust you, they will buy your products. Now, there is a caveat. Your product does have to be good so that they continue to buy. If it's not, then they're probably gonna lose their trust with you and the business isn't gonna succeed. But nonetheless, I've spoken with many content creators about this. If you're strictly just relying on the content itself to make money, you're missing out on a huge opportunity. And all of this brings me back to Drake and Kanye. If we accept that their music is just a lead funnel to their actual businesses, how's that working out for them? Well, according to Forbes, Drake is worth $180 million. He owns a lot of the things you'd expect rich people to own, like real estate, fancy cars. He's even got his own private jet. Reportedly, the jet is worth $185 million and it was gifted to him. He's also got his own sponsors, endorsements, and he's also the global ambassador for the Toronto Raptors. But as far as businesses go, he doesn't have that many. He's got OVO Sound, which is his record label. That allows him to make more money on his own music, as well as get other people under the label, which he can make money on. And he also started his own bourbon company called Virginia Black. All in all, I would say he's actually done a pretty poor job of starting businesses with his fame. When you see what P. Diddy, Jay-Z, and Rihanna have done with their brand compared to Drake, you realize he's not doing much. And it looks even lower when you compare it with the guy he's got beef with. According to Forbes, Kanye's net worth is reportedly $1.8 billion. And there are some estimates that it could be as high as $6.6 billion. And I think we can assume that Kanye didn't make billions of dollars by making music and selling records. The vast majority of Kanye's fortune is tied up in his own brands that he has created. The biggest of which is his Yeezy fashion line. He creates clothes and fashion, but he's most known for his sneaker line with Adidas named Yeezy. And Yeezys have become a status symbol for people because of their unique look and because they're high value. On a side note, my wife bought my 2-year-old Yeezys. I don't know why he needs them, but he seems to love running around in them. And even though that Adidas deal is really big, he's also signed a deal with Gap. And I'm not sure what he's gonna do with them, but if it's anything close to what he did with Adidas, it's gonna be huge. But another thing that he did was invest in Skim Shapewear. This is his ex-wife Kim Kardashian's shapewear line. And we don't know exactly what his stake in it is, but that could be potentially over $1 billion as well. So you can see there's such a big difference between what Drake is doing versus what Kanye's doing. Kanye has so much IP outside of his music. And if I had to guess, music might account for less than 5% of his actual income. So my advice is Drake needs to start using his brand to do something else outside of music. I know he's got the bourbon company, and that worked out really well for Conor McGregor. He sold his own whiskey company for $600 million. But he's gonna have to definitely step it up because in my eyes, there's not really any beef. Kanye is the clearly superior businessman and arguably superior rapper. So I'll be watching to see how he evolves as a businessman. And also let it be a lesson to you watching this that whatever it is that makes you famous does not mean that that's gonna be what makes you the most money. For me, flipping houses is what put me on the map and made people aware of me, but now I've branched off into other businesses which are far more lucrative. And I think that's a natural progression for people who are good at getting eyeballs. Anyways, I hope you got value out of this video. If you did, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.